You're looking to come to Prime, want to get your CDL, have my videos played a part in you wanting to get your CDL, put me down as a referral. Driver code Maturo, M-A-T-U-R-O. Also list Nikki Yost.
Hi guys, I'm a recruiter here at Prime. I've been working alongside Junior for several years. If you would like to come to Prime, we would love if you would list his code and me as your recruiter. We would love to get you in here.
If you have any questions, give her a call at 417-521-3598. Thank you guys. Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm here with Nikki.
Hi.
I know it's been a while. We're about to do another Q&A, kind of update a little bit on all the questions that people may have about coming to Prime. So, you know, Nikki's going to help us. She knows majority of these answers. I know a lot of them, but, you know, I want her to answer them as well and kind of go from there, and then kind of from a recruiter's point of view. And so when you guys call and fill out the application, then you have an idea what needs to be done and how to go about it. So we're going to start off with a couple questions. We're going to start off with a lot of questions. So first question, does Prime Inc. hire from all states?
At this time, we do have some states that we're not taking a lot of drivers from. That could change, you know, from month to month. So it's always a good idea to just touch base with your recruiter or periodically check in with us. California, we're not taking a lot of drivers from that area besides our intermodal department. Again, we're full right now, but that could change in a month or so. So I encourage you just to always call and check in. Florida is kind of limited on how many drivers we can take in. We just can't oversaturate our driver pool for our current drivers down there.
And these hiring locations, they change from time to time, right?
They do, yeah.
Okay.
So.
All right. So how many terminals does Prime Inc. have?
As of right now, we have 3. We have Springfield, Missouri, which is the main terminal. We have Pittston, Pennsylvania, and Salt Lake City, Utah. In the future, we'll probably have a few other terminals that's in the works. So.
Okay. See, hey, this is why we're doing this. I didn't even know that. What divisions does Prime Inc. offer?
We have a reefer, flatbed, tanker / hopper, and intermodal.
Okay, hopper.
Yep.
Okay. Can I choose the division, or is that something I'm told when I apply?
You can choose the division that you would like to do. It is based off of where you live at. So, like, you know, some states we only do reefer and flatbed. Tanker's more like the eastern part of the United States. But you can choose that. Sometimes we have a little bit longer wait on certain divisions, but a recruiter can let you know all of that.
Okay. Is Prime Inc. only a lease or only company?
No, we do lease and company. There are certain states that we don't do leasing out of, such as New Jersey and California. Again, we can let you know what you're eligible for, but typically everybody can, you know, choose what they'd like to do.
Okay. How much do lease operators earn?
That is $1 million question.
Or I guess, what percentage? I mean,
they are paid 72% for flatbed and reefer, and then tanker is 71%. You know, what you're actually making comes down to you as an independent contractor, because you can turn down loads, and it's up to you on your fuel mileage and things like that.
Work ethics.
Yep.
How much do company drivers earn per mile?
Reefer is 50 to 55 cents per mile. Plus we have a really good safety and service incentive after you're here for 13 weeks. Tanker, I believe, is still 57 cents per mile. To double check. I don't think they've changed it. Yeah, it's still 57 on tanker, and then flatbed is 52 cents per mile plus your tarping pay.
Now on the reefer, you said 50 to 55.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I mean,
it can the style of truck, lightweight to condo, can vary on the pay, because, you know, in a lightweight truck you get better fuel mileage, so you can make a little bit more per mile.
Okay. So it's based on how you run.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the trucks, I don't think we have a ton of lightweights anymore.
Okay.
But yeah, there's that difference.
Okay. And what if I come in with experience?
How much do you earn?
Yes, as a company driver.
So we kind of look at that internally based off of your work history, and so it goes off of how many months of experience you have. It could increase it from like 50 to 51 and a half cents per mile, or if you 55, it could be 56 and a half. But you can move up pretty quickly with those safety and service incentives.
Okay. How much do company drivers earn team driving?
It is going to be different from all divisions, but the teams start out for reefer at 69 cents per mile. The more miles that you drive, you'll get these team driver bonuses. So, from 3,000 to 4,000 miles in a week, they get an additional 26 cents per mile.
Split.
Right. And then any miles over 4,000 that the team does, it's additional 31 cents per mile on top of the 69 cents. So it all comes down to miles.
Okay. How much do lease operators earn team driving?
It's going to be the 72% of the revenue. Obviously, there's only one truck payment, so it's going to be the double amount of revenue. That one's a little bit tricky because you could have a husband and a wife and all the money's going to one truck, but typically anywhere from $1,500 to $2,200 a week as an average.
But as far as the miles, no, because it's the lease, so they would be a percentage. Okay.
So that could be like solo would be like 15, 22. Obviously, a lot of drivers are doing a lot better than that, but we only give out averages, not top performing numbers.
Correct.
So you'll double that as a team.
Okay. If I apply and say I want to do flatbed, then I decide I want to do refrigerated. Can I do that or no?
Okay.
How long do I have, or what is the process for that?
So once you come to orientation, they typically would require you to stay in that division because we've already, got trainers lined up and things like that. However, it's a case-by-case basis. If we have openings, such as like for no-shows and things like that, they're pretty strict on if you pick a division, you need to stay in it for at least 6 months.
Okay. When is the best time to apply at Priming?
That would be just whenever you're ready. The applications are only good for 30 days. After that, you have to keep reapplying. So whenever you're ready to get started, within that month, get that application in and we can process it really quickly.
Okay, that's good. How long is my application valid for? You just said 30 days. Can I switch recruiters? And the reason I'm asking that is because I've had people tell me, hey, my recruiter's not reaching out to me, they're not communicating, et cetera.
It's a possibility. Basically, you could call in and talk to the supervisor over recruiting. I've been asked before, like, can you be my recruiter? I watched you on YouTube. And I'm like, you didn't list my name on the application.
Exactly.
So it goes to whoever, it just automatically dispersed. I would say, give it a shot with that one. If I hadn't spoke to him, I'm not going to go and, take a file away.
Correct.
So.
Okay, it's understanding. But definitely talk to the supervisor if there's any issue.
If there's an issue, for sure.
All right. How much does it cost to get my license with Priming?
To go through our training program, there's no out-of-pocket expense for you. I mean, there's a 1-year contract to drive for us. Now, you would have to have your permit from your local DMV, and every state's different. So I don't know every state's cost on that, and they change it from time to time. So.
All right. What are the basic requirements in order to apply? What do I need to have required for me?
You'll do the application. We look at driving record, criminal record, work history, have a basic phone interview to make sure you're going to be a good fit. But your recruiter will let you know what documents you need to bring. If you're a student, you have to have the permit before we will process the application.
Okay, all right. Do I need my permit prior to coming to Priming? Yes. She just said that twice in 2 different questions, and yes, it is required. No ifs and or buts about it, and that is something that you have to look at depending on the state you live in.
Yeah.
So you have to go and find out what is required to get your permit, your CDL permit, and what it entitles of, maybe a DOT, I don't know, you know what I mean? So
yeah, so some states require you to have the physical before you even get the permit. So we have ran into some cases where we've helped pay for the physical. If you're passing all your practice tests and you're ready, then I don't mind to help you pay for the physical, but you would be expected to get the permit like the next day. A great app to study for the permit is CDL Prep. It's free on Apple and Android, and they have practice tests on there. Once you get to, passing those at 70% or better, you're probably good to go and take it.
Okay, all right, that's good. How many times can I fill my permit? Again, that depends on you and the state and what.
State,
yeah. So, all right. And these are questions, guys, that people ask me all the time. So I'm just asking, how much does it cost to get my permit? Again, it goes based on the state, and it varies. Do I need my DOT medical card prior to coming to Prime Inc.? Again, it goes hand in hand with the permit from your home state.
Yeah, you have to be medically certified to operate on that permit. So before you come in, you have to have the physical and the permit, and you have to be certified to drive across state lines. So that is non-accepted interstate. So NEI.
Non-exempt. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If I'm diabetic, can I still be hired?
Yes. Yeah. So the DOT physical is all handled by a medical professional. So they would be the ones that would, help you with that. But yes, we do have diabetics work here.
Okay. Can I go to one of the terminal for orientation and test out at another terminal?
Yeah. So that kind of comes down to where you are at the end of your training.
Or the trainer.
Or the trainer, things like that. So you may not test, where you started at. You may just kind of logistically what makes sense, what terminal makes sense to get you there.
Yeah, and when I said based on the trainer as well, meaning if you guys started off in Piston and you guys are in Texas and you were ready to test out, the closest terminal would be Springfield, Missouri. So you would make your way to Springfield, Missouri and get on the pad and then go from there. So
yeah, or he may be getting a load to Utah. And so
true.
Logistically, whatever makes
yes.
the most sense,
yeah.
That's more of an operational decision than.
Okay. Do I need driving experience to apply with Prime Inc.?
No, you need regular car driving experience.
Okay, yeah. I meant truck driving experience, but no, as far as experience, I guess you need a regular license, right? Driver's license?
Yeah, you have to have your U.S. driver's license for at least 12 months to qualify. If your license has been suspended for a long time and then you got it back a year ago, safety may require you to have it for 3 years after a long-term suspension.
Okay.
So, but we get that question a lot. Where
and
I just got my license to drive a car. I want to get my CDL, and we're like.
No, and as far as the suspensions, it's on a case-to-case as well.
It is, yeah. We'll look at things. If it's like a 1-day suspension or something, then safety makes those calls.
I didn't pay my parking ticket.
Right. So, but if it's something that happens, every other month, then they'll say.
Yeah. No, I would even tell you, don't even apply. What level of English do I need to apply?
Just where you can communicate without having anybody help you. Don't have translators call in or anything, because if you come to orientation, you won't have that translator with you, and you'll get sent back home. It's a DOT requirement that you must communicate effectively in English. And so, as long as you can get through the phone interview with us and you can understand what we're telling you to bring and things like that, you'll be okay.
Now, Arkansas started doing this thing where they're starting to give drivers a pamphlet or a sheet, and they're asking them to read it. They're not able to read it. They're getting fined or whatever. I was like, what?
Yeah, I mean.
Does anybody at Prime speak Spanish as far as the recruiters?
Oh yeah, but we cannot communicate in.
No speak Spanish?
No
habla español.
yeah, there's a lot of in-house people that do, but we have to go off the DOT regulations and rules, and we don't want to get in trouble. So.
Yeah. I only have a work permit. Can I still apply?
Yeah.
Or a resident alien card?
Yeah, so we do, as long as you have all of the legal U.S. documentation to work, you can bring that with you. Your recruiter can review it before you come in to make sure it works. And most of those work permits and stuff, you need like a social security card with it, but that works.
And your permit? Your permit?
Yes.
Your permit from your home state?
Yeah.
Does Prime Inc. hire ex-felons?
So again, that's one of those case-by-case situations. We have a set of minimum qualifications that we follow, and so we will review that on a case-by-case basis.
Okay, fair. Does Prime Inc. hire SAP drivers, substance abuse professional program?
So With SAT programs, our company policy is it does have to be completed for 3 years, and that means all of your return to duty testing has to be completed for 3 years.
Okay.
And then you can apply. You will have to provide documentation showing what date, things like that.
Okay. So they do hire. Okay. What endorsements will I need if I decide to come to Prime?
So the main endorsement we require, in addition to the permit or the CDL, would be the tanker endorsement. It's only about 20 questions, super easy to get.
Yeah, easy, yeah.
So, yeah.
And what was that app that you said that?
CDL Prep.
And that's a good
Yes.
app for that? Okay. CDL Prep. Okay. Is HAZMAT required?
It's not a hiring requirement.
Okay. No, but they could get it if they want to. Okay. How long does it take before someone reaches out to me after I apply?
So if you apply on the weekends, it'll probably be Monday before they call you. We only have a short staff on the weekends for emergency travel and things like that. But if you apply Monday through Friday from 8 to 5, some recruiters call immediately, and some will call within 4 to 6 hours, after they kind of review the application. But you can always call in,
Okay. Now during the weekend, it sounds like you got a bare bone crew here, and obviously the recruiter that they're assigned to should be able to provide any and all information needed in case something were to happen, right? Meaning they missed their bus or whatever.
Oh, for sure. That's why we have weekend coverage.
Okay.
There's not a whole lot of processing of applications that we can do on the weekends because other staff members aren't here, like verifications and things like that. But and your recruiter, you should always have their email. You will have it. You'll get tons of emails from them, so you can always email them. We have on-call recruiters every weekend, and then recruiters staffed for travel issues and things like that.
Another question. What is that fancy app, which it wasn't active when I applied? Like
10th Street?
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
10th Street.
It's like one of the biggest ones for trucking where you can apply
Really?
and then you can send your application to a bunch of different employers, and then they have like a thing where you can message your recruiter back and forth. So it's almost like texting, but it's through the app, and you can upload your documents. I mean, it's great.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't have that when I applied, so
Yeah.
I heard about it. So, and are there any out-of-pocket costs for me? And you did say there was none, right? Or
Right. Yeah. I mean, you have to go pay for your permit.
and the medical prior to applying, but as far as coming in Prime, there's no cost.
Right. We cover the bus ticket. We cover your hotel and 3 meals a day while you're here.
And then where will I be staying at?
So when you're scheduled for orientation, we will send you the hotel address. There will be a shuttle that will come and pick you up off the Greyhound and take you to the hotel. Doesn't matter which terminal you go to, we have hotels it's already been paid for. Your name's on the list,
Okay.
and so you just call the Prime shuttle or the hotel shuttle, and they'll take you over to your hotel.
Okay. So the name's already on the list. So
Yeah.
you ain't gonna say, well, I came here and
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
If I was not accepted to the program, will they tell me why, or is that something I need to ask myself?
Both. I mean, if you weren't accepted, you may know why, but if you don't, just call in and we can let you know. You may not be qualified right now, but we can tell you reapply at this date based off of your driving record issue.
And the reason I ask that is because I've had people message me and reach out to me and say, hey man, they said no. Okay. Why? I don't know. What?
Yeah, just call and any recruiter. It doesn't have to be even the recruiter.
And then when you call and ask, or whenever they say no, you don't qualify, ask why, and then ask what is the process, or what steps do I need to take to become qualified,
Right.
and how long do I have to wait?
Yeah.
So, how long do I have to wait to reapply to Prime Inc? And again, I guess it's on a case to case. And whenever you talk to the recruiter, ask them how long, and they'll tell you how long and why. So,
Yeah.
What time frame are we looking at from the time I applied to when I come to Prime Inc for orientation?
I mean, we can typically get your application approved pretty quickly. We can have you an answer within 24 to 48 hours. I've got an application before on a Thursday and had them scheduled in for next week. So it can go just kind of as quick as you want. But again, the applications are only good for 30 days. So if you don't start within that 30-day window, you have to reapply and we have to run everything again.
Okay, does orientation start a certain day, or can I come in anytime?
We start on Mondays, Wednesdays, for the most part. We do start occasionally, or we do start on Fridays in Springfield, but not at the other terminals. So Mondays and Wednesdays are our main days for orientation.
And I guess it depends on the terminal you go to, or?
Yeah, all 3 terminals do Monday and Wednesday, and then Springfield does Fridays too.
Okay, cool. How long is orientation?
3 days.
3 days. Okay, it's not bad. It's 3 days. Okay. Is lodging and food provided? You did say that earlier. That
yes.
The meal. How much? How many?
3 meals a day.
3 meals a day. Okay. Is that breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, am I getting 3 meals at Longhorn or?
I wish.
Oh man. So does Primate provide transportation to the terminal?
Right. Yep.
They
So
do.
the shuttle. Yeah.
And to the terminal, meaning from their home to the terminal.
Yeah, we'll get you a Greyhound bus as our option for travel right now. If you choose not to use that Greyhound bus, we can reimburse you. Your recruiter can add that up for you and tell you how much that reimbursement would be.
Okay, and can I fly in?
You can fly in. We may not cover the whole plane ticket, depending on how much it is, but we can reimburse a portion.
What about rental?
Same.
Okay. So fly in, rental, or the Greyhound bus. I got my CDL at truck driving school. Can I still apply?
Sure. Yeah. We don't accept a ton of recent graduates right now, but again, it kind of comes down to work history, stability, and driving record, things like that. But definitely always apply. That's the only way we can tell you if we're able to qualify you.
Okay. I got my CDL 60 days ago. Can I still apply?
Yeah. So within the 60 days, it's still a recent graduate. So it's actually 90 days. Anything over 90 days, then we have another program that is kind of like our PSD program, but it's a refresher program. So there's no contract for those types of students. It's like a refresher, and then they go into T&T.
Okay. Does Primate have tuition reimbursement, and how does it work?
So we do. It's $1,500. You would need to email your recruiter the receipt just showing, that you are charged, and then they will pay it out in 3 $500 increments. So the first 3 months you're here, you'll get $500 reimbursed.
First 3 months, once a month?
Mm-hmm. $500 each month.
And that doesn't matter if I'm in PSD or TNT. I mean, obviously, as long as I'm here for 3 months.
Oh, well, that's for the.
Yeah. Sorry. You're right.
Yeah.
Getting confused there. See? Does Primate have a contract with getting my CDL? Do I have a contract with Primate if I get my CDL here?
Yeah, so it's a 1-year contract to work for us in exchange for no out-of-pocket expense. 9-month contract for military veterans.
Okay. So 9 months or a year, 12 months. And that's from the moment you get your CDL.
Right.
Okay, yeah. And then the veteran, yeah. Do I have to pay anything back if I leave before completing my contract?
Yes, and all that information will be in the contract when you sign it. And so, if you have any questions, you can ask. I believe the tuition amount's around $4,500.
Okay.
That's the last information I knew, but yeah.
All right, $4,500. How long do I have to decide if this is for me or not? Remember, I'm coming in as a non-CDL holder.
I believe that from the date that you start orientation, there's like a 2-week grace period.
Okay, 2 weeks. All right.
So I would hope that you would know before you come all the way in.
And the reason I say that, and a lot of people ask that, is because they see something at home. Obviously, there's a lot of videos being made and stuff, and they see something, and then when they get out here on the road, they look at the lifestyle and they're like, oh.
Yes, yeah, and I've always stressed that. Like, do your research. Make sure that you're going to really be okay with being away from home, and using truck stops and doing your laundry out here and things like that.
So what happens if I decide this is not for me?
You just need to communicate with your fleet manager or the training department and let them know.
Okay, all right. Will I be affected by anything if I complete training, then decide to leave? Meaning go from PSD to TNT, and then at that point you say, man, I don't know,
I mean, you're still breaking the contract, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you pay the tuition back and that's it.
Yeah.
Can I refuse to pick up certain freight because it goes against my religion?
So we do have a what we haul form that is sent to all the drivers, and it'll tell you what we haul. And this is sent before you're even in orientation. And it'll tell you reefer, flatbed, tanker, what the expectations are. And you can actually go through and decide that before you come in.
Okay.
So if it's, something.
So it's left up to the driver, to the person applying to decide if this is.
Yes. So if there's stuff in our reefer unit that you cannot haul, I would suggest doing flatbed, because you won't have. There's not really anything in flatbed. I don't.
Onions and potatoes.
Yeah. Right. So like construction materials.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think onions and potatoes is all I can think of, food wise.
Beer, pork.
On flatbed?
Oh no! Sorry, I thought reefer. Yeah.
No, flatbed. Yeah. So does Primate offer a refresher course?
We do. We don't really call it a refresher course, but if you have your CDL and you haven't used it, we have like a fast track portion of the PSD that we can put you through to refresh on all of your skills. And then once you pass the skills evaluation, you'll go right into T&T. So.
Okay, all right. If I drove for Primate in the past, how do I know if I'm eligible for rehire?
You can call in and recruiting can look and see, but essentially you would need to reapply, and we would have to review what you've been doing since you left, as well as run a rehire vote, and that typically takes about 48 hours. There's a group of departments that go through your track record, being here before, safety record, logs, things like that, and then they'll let us know if you're eligible to come back.
I got another question. I get asked this a lot. I've been doing Uber for the last year. Is Uber?
It's fine.
Okay, I don't know why they asked that.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
I do know some trucking companies are super strict on non-CDL work history. And I think we used to be kind of that way. But we, as long as you're working, I think that's great. It's fine.
Will I have any days off on the road?
You do. I mean, our drivers get a day of home time for every week that they're out. As far as company drivers.
No, meaning on the road. While on the road, like training
okay.
and away from my house. Will I have any days off out here?
Like during the 3 to 4 weeks that they're out? I mean, they'll do their resets.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could. But
I guess you could answer that probably better than I can.
Yeah. No days off. No days off. And the reason I say no days off is because if you manage your clock properly, you should not have any time off. You shouldn't sit and do a 34. Because if you're sitting doing a 34, that means you're not making money, you're not running miles, et cetera, et cetera. And if you're going to sit and do a 34, you want to do it at home.
Right, 100%.
So,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, the expectation is to be out for 3 to 4 weeks at a time working.
Okay. How often will I go home? Will I get to go home again 3 to 4 weeks? Now, this is 3 to 4 weeks after training, right?
Right. So the home time during training really comes down to
the trainer
and how often they go home. Sometimes stuff happens and they have to go home more. Things like that.
Okay.
Family, weather.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's raining today. I'm gonna just go home and watch Netflix. She said weather. Does Primate offer regional positions?
Based off of where you live at, again, that's something we can look at and let you know if we have any openings.
Okay, and whatever division too is
right.
Yeah, okay. What about dedicated positions?
Be kind of the same as a regional. We do have some dedicated that is in intermodal that gets you home every night. We occasionally have openings for that.
Okay. Do I have to live in a certain area to do a certain
Yes.
division?
Yes. Yeah, you do.
Okay.
So we don't, say you want tanker and you live in
Florida? No.
Right.
Or Texas?
So,
Texas?
A small portion of Texas we do. Like Arizona, we don't do tanker out there.
Okay.
So,
okay.
but the recruiter can look and let you know what your options are.
Okay. Does Primate have a hair follicle drug test or urine?
We don't disclose that.
I don't know why people ask this.
Yeah.
Like, if you're so concerned about a hair follicle test or a urine test, don't even apply.
Yeah.
Do not apply.
So I maintain the stance on you must be drug free for at least 6 months. You're going to be asked that on your DOT physical, and so yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Again, don't apply if you're concerned about the drug test they're doing.
And it's federal. It's still federally illegal for marijuana. So, and we do get that question a lot, and I kind of understand because most states are legal for marijuana now. So it might be somebody that used to do it occasionally, but now they want to do this, and I'll say, hey, you need to get yourself on this path.
don't apply.
Stop.
But yeah, you got to know what you're doing, guys. You know, don't, if you're concerned about this question, just don't apply.
Yeah.
But you got to be known about what you're doing. So I got a ticket 2 years ago. Will that affect me?
No, a ticket from 2 years ago shouldn't. It depends on how many you've had in the last 3 years. If you had suspensions, what the ticket was for.
All right. I have a fender bender on my record. Can I still apply?
Same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've moved 3 times within the last 2 years. Will that affect me?
No, but your license and permit need to match the state that you apply from.
Okay. I've had 3 jobs in the past year. Will that affect me?
It shouldn't. Non-CDL jobs, we're not too particular about that. If it's been 3 driving jobs, we will look at that a little bit closer. Job stability is a huge factor. Our turnover rate is the lowest in the industry, and we would like to keep it that way.
Okay, all right. Can my wife and I do team driving at Primate?
Yes, yeah, we are always looking for teams, so definitely.
All right. Can I train my wife?
We'll have to look at your experience. Sometimes they would like you to be here for about 60 days before you become a trainer, just to learn our freight network and things like that, take a trainer class. But we can definitely look at those situations on a case-by-case basis.
So if you guys are already working here at Primate and you have to have at least 60 days before you can become a trainer to train your wife, right?
Right.
And if you're coming in or wanting to come in to team drive with your wife, it'd be best to come in to 60 days and then have your wife come in.
Yeah, and again, we have some exceptions on that, so it is really a case-by-case, and we get operations involved and things like that.
All right.
So.
All right. How long before I can become a trainer?
Generally, you would have to be here for at least 60 days before you become a trainer. There's 2 different types of trainers at Prime, though, the PSD and the TNT.
The PSD instructor is what they train the new guys to get their CDL. And then the TNT trainer, which is trainer and trainee, is where they teach the drivers the nitty-gritty of the job and the meats and potatoes of the job to get them ready for when they go on their own. Now, how long can I become a trainer? That is after they complete their training, their PSD and TNT, after they become an A seat.
Well, again, it's going to come down to your fleet manager, your safety record.
I just want to make sure I was clear as far as after they got their own truck.
Right, but the PSDs, you have to be a CDL holder for 2 years.
To become a PSD instructor.
Right.
Okay.
So.
But a TNT trainer, 6 months?
I think the last I knew it was 6 months.
Okay, all right. Do I have to tell you now if I'm going to do company or lease? Like when they apply, like if I apply to Prime and I get accepted, do I have to tell you right now, hey, I'm going to do company, or hey, I'm going to do lease, or do I have some time?
No, we would need to know if you're an experienced driver coming in to get your own truck. We would need to know that before you arrive. So we have you in the right classes and things like that, and truck assignment, so we have those lists accurately. Now, if you're a student, you all start as a company driver, and then you'll have the option to upgrade later.
All right, so if I come in as a company, can I go from company to lease?
Sure, you can change.
And how long do I have to make up my mind on that as far as?
You can change at any time. You just communicate with your fleet manager, hey, I would like to switch to lease. I would always say to do company for at least 6 months with any new company, just to learn their freight lanes and things like that first. But we have people start all the time as a lease operator and then go company. Yeah.
Okay, and then what if I come in through orientation, do my training, and I'm ready to upgrade, and I said, okay, I want to do company, and then decide I want to do lease? Can that happen then, or
when are they deciding? Like after they get their company truck, or in their upgrade?
That's a good question. I'm asking a question. She's asking me. So I guess the first one would be if I'm in orientation or not orientation, upgrade. Mm-hmm. I'm here to upgrade. I've already completed my miles and I'm ready to get my truck. But I said, okay, I want to do company. Can I change my mind and say, no, I want to do lease?
I'm sure that would be fine. There's different classes during the upgrade for different, company versus lease, but you just talk to your fleet manager and he may have to they may have already done the class for lease that week and you may have to wait till next week, or but really just communicating with the fleet manager. He's the one that has those schedule lists and will be able to answer that for you.
Okay, all right. What should I bring with me to orientation as far as clothes and shoes and
So
all
we
that?
say a week's worth of clothing, just because there's not a ton of room back there. A week's worth of clothing, comfortable shoes where you can safely walk in them, your toiletry items, so you can shower and things like that out over the road. Obviously, all the documents the recruiter emails you to bring, permit, license, U.S. passport, birth certificate, or green card, and anything else they ask you to bring.
I got another question about that birth certificate.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard people say, hey, I forgot my birth certificate while in orientation.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that can be fixed or they have to go back home and...
So, yeah, I mean, we tell them so many times before they come in that they have to have one of those documents to get hired, but it happens or they lose it on the Greyhound. Sometimes, if there's another copy back at home, somebody can overnight it, mail it to them. I've had that happen and it'd be fine. Or if they left it at home, mom, sister, wife can overnight mail it to them, and that's fine. It just gets here the next day.
Okay.
Or they can order a birth certificate, but most of the time that takes several weeks, and so they'd have to go back home to wait on that.
Okay, all right. What is the rider policy like at Prime Inc.?
So we allow 3 heartbeats on the truck. So that includes pets and humans.
My fish?
If it has a heartbeat.
My goldfish. Let me see. Okay, so 3 heartbeats.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. What is the home time policy for a company driver? I think we answered this earlier.
Yeah.
It's 3 to 4 weeks out and 3 to 4 days home, right? What is the pay for the company driver? We've already talked about that. 50 to 55 cents per mile. Can I get a condo versus lightweight? We've already talked about that, and you said that there's starting to be less lightweights here in more condos as opposed to the choice. What is the home time policy for the lease operator? Well,
I mean, I typically still say 3 to 4 weeks out. Home time's just more flexible for you. If you're at home, you're not making money, and the truck payments still due every week, so that is an operational decision.
I would say 5 to 6 weeks. Yeah, 5 to 6 weeks. I personally would say 5 to 6 weeks only because that first week you're actually playing catch up. And
for sure.
And then you want at least 4 to 5 consistent weeks. So that's why.
Yeah, and some drivers just stay out. They just stay out for 8-10 weeks, and really just what you can manage as a operator.
Okay. Do I get to choose the color of my truck, whether I'm going lease or company?
So with company, you'll just basically choose from what we have or what's assigned to you after orientation. Lease, you can custom order a truck, but again, you would be picking from what's in inventory once you complete orientation.
But you would, after you complete your training, you would have to pick what's available, and then after some time, then you can custom order a truck.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Just want to make sure we're clear
For
on that.
lease, yes.
Yeah, for lease. Yeah. Because when she said custom order, I didn't want you to think that you're going to come in, custom order a truck after training. Like, no. So, does Prime Inc. offer benefits, insurance, etc.?
We do. We have all the basic company health, dental, vision, life, 401k, and that starts after 90 days.
After 90 days. Okay.
For company drivers.
Okay. And what about the lease operators?
The lease operators, they are independent contractors, so they can get their insurance benefits through anywhere. Prime does have some information through like Enrollment First and some other options for insurance for those guys.
Okay. All right. Is the lease program a walk away lease, or is there a charge or a fee for walking away or for saying, I don't want to do a lease anymore?
Right. I mean, you're not going to be penalized. However, if there's anything owed, you would, pay that. Damages, things like that.
Right. So give the truck back the way you got it, and
Correct.
and you won't have any fees
Right.
or charges, I guess
Right.
you can say. So, okay. What's the reason for the cameras in the truck?
That is just an operational decision.
I think there's a lot of guys doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing. But, hey, that's... I don't know why, but...
Yeah, it's just operations. They tested it out for a long time, like a couple years, and made the decision that that's where they wanted to go. So
I'll tell you what. When the cameras first came out, I was I don't know what to do. I don't know. You know, I was like, now I have the camera in my truck.
Yeah.
And I don't think of it being there because I'm not doing anything I'm not supposed to. I'm driving like I normally do. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So it's like, it's not there.
Right. I understand the apprehension about it. You know, like, is it on all the time? Is it recording me while I'm sleeping or whatever? And so we can answer those questions for you when you call in, but no, it's not recording you all the time.
Right. It shuts off once you turn the truck off.
Yeah.
The inward facing one shuts off. And the inward facing one is only recording the driver.
Right. It's like this.
Yeah, so like if I'm sitting here, it's only recording me.
Yeah.
Like it just waist up and that's it. It wants to make sure you don't have a phone in your hand and whatever. It's not recording the passenger side either.
No. Every video I've seen, it's like blurred.
Yes.
Everything's blurred. You know,
around the driver. Yeah,
right.
That's crazy. Yeah. So AI. What are the different meanings for the different seats, or what are the meanings for the different seats?
Yeah,
A, B, C, and D.
I get this question a lot because it's sent out on the orientation form, like you are a D seat, and so an A seat would be no training required. You're experienced driver, you're going to do orientation, and then you're gonna hit the road. There's a couple different Bs that we do. B1 would be somebody that kind of has a CDL, has experience, but only has local recently. So they would want you to do like 15,000 miles with a TNT trainer at $900 a week, just to kind of refresh on all of those skills before they throw you right out. A B2 is somebody that maybe only has 3 or 4 months of, probably 4 months of OTR. And so they're not at that 6 months requirement.
Okay.
And so a B2 seat would be need to do 30,000 miles of TNT at 900. And then a C seat would be somebody who has 3 months or less, or a recent graduate, and they do 40,000 miles of TNT.
Okay. And then D, what is that?
It would be our student.
Okay.
It would be our coming in with a permit, or somebody that got a CDL but never used it. So we could.
All right. So, what does the CDL exam consist of? Well, it's the pre-trip inspection, the backing maneuvers, and the driving portion of it, which is simple. I mean, if you go out there with a trainer and do what you're supposed to, easy peasy.
Yeah.
So, what is PSD? That's, PSD is prime student driver, and that's something that a person coming in with their CDL, permit, and they're learning to get their CDL. So they're going to pass the CDL in-house and whatnot and go from there. And then what is TNT? TNT is the trainer and trainee, and that is once you pass your CDL, the first phase of training, then you go on to the second phase of training, which is TNT, trainer and trainee. And at that point, you're learning the meats and potatoes of the job and doing everything you need to be doing for when you get on your own, you're good to go.
Going through real life scenarios of, what different types of weather and things like that. You're going to have that trainer right there accessible, when situations come up that you can't be tested for.
Yeah. So, guys, I don't even know how many questions we have.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot.
So.
And we have more.
Yes, we have more. But I wanted to get this video out there. It's been a while since we've done a video, guys. And it's 2025, I know. When was the last time we did a video?
I don't know.
Like 2021.
You've been working too much.
Yeah, so we wanted to get this video out, kind of update you guys on what's going on, and then we'll do another one and go live and stuff. And
give us some ideas on stuff too that you want us to do videos over, and we can do that.
Or questions, right? Yeah. So if you guys have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments below, or any ideas of, what you think would be a good video from us, Nikki and myself, and then we'll see what Nikki can do to make that happen.
Yeah. I'll just keep pestering you.
So, all right, guys. So if you're here with us still, thank you for watching. Thank you, Nikki, as well, for taking the time of your day to come in here and do this video with me, and hopefully we've answered some of the questions you guys may have. If we didn't, leave it below, we'll get back to it, and Nick could be kind of looking. I'll be looking myself, and then if you guys know my social media stuff, reach out to me. I know I've not been as good I need to be, but I've been as busy, you know, with the family and stuff and work. So that's what I kind of been doing, and I want to try to get back into the groove of doing videos and yeah, doing what we do best.
Yep.
Bitch, I wanna party like Chris Farley.